We've already talked a little bit about mediation and adversary divorce and some of the effects on it, but can you elaborate a little bit on the effects of on children, of the differences between adversary divorce and mediated divorces?
I can make a generic statement that the more the parents fight, the more torn apart the kids feel. So that if they can find themselves in a situation where the parents are being civil, where they're communicating correctly and properly and without bad-mouthing the other partner, I think that the child is always better off. And in the parents that I have dealt with, I find that the ones that go through mediation seem to do this better.
I always think there's a little bit of pre-selecting in the process.
Absolutely.
And the parents, I found over the years, unfortunately, people that pick mediation very often are more aware of their children doing those things and aren't as angry.
I think you're absolutely right. But I also think that I know that parents love their kids, and parents don't want to hurt their child or harm their child. And if we can show them ways that they can make things better for the child, a majority of them will go for that.
What's your thoughts about pre- and post-divorce counseling?
I think it's a must. I think it's a very important thing. And I'll go one step further. I think that if you want to prevent divorce, you start premaritally. I really think that premarital or couples counseling is a very good idea.
That's how, I think it's a good idea also, but so many couples who you recommend it to feel it's unromantic. How do you deal with that?
Well, that's the problem with marriage and divorce, Wally. We start out picking a partner when we're in a stage of, it's like a narcosis. Love really scrambles the brain. So I think
are we going back to arranged marriages now, or not? Are we advocating arranged marriages?
No, I'm not advocating arranged marriages, but I am suggesting that young people be aware of the state they're in and try to ask themselves questions about what they're embarking on. I think you need 4 things to make a marriage work. You need care. You have to care for that person. Love. That's easy, especially in the beginning. You need a commitment. This is not a person you're just dating. This is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. This is the person that you want to have children with. That's the kind of commitment that you have to deal with. And I think you also have to hone up on your communication skills. Communication is, we are born with the ability to develop language, and we learn how to talk. But communication is a skill, and it has to be developed, and you have to work on it, and you have to practice on communicating without hurting the other people.
That's one of the reasons I've also felt that mediation is good, is I think it really ends up being practice for some of these people doing that. They develop, it's an educational experience, it's a growth experience, and they can end up learning to be better. But strangely enough, I think learning how to be better parents is how to communicate better.
I think that's absolutely true, and I also think that parents see the thing about communication, Wally, is that you have to be able to express yourself without hurting the other person. That's the key when you are negotiating, when you are trying to figure out what direction you're going in, even when you're trying to figure out maybe what car to buy. I think you have to be able to express yourself, but also be careful not to hurt the other person. And it can take rehearsals. It can take practice. And saying that, the other thing is that if the child sees and hears parents in this kind of communication, the parents are not only doing the right thing, but they're modeling for their child what the way grown-ups should act.
I often tell people to be careful, because this is the way the children, you're modeling behavior that they're going to be picking which nursing home you go into. So
Absolutely. And actually, one person I heard speaking to a group of parents said, your child's brain is like a blank VCR tape. It's going to be there forever, what you say and do.
You know, a lot of parents, I think, struggle with this issue, but should people delay divorce? Is there a better time?
Well, studies have shown that neither quarreling, fighting parents or unhappy parents or divorce is good for children. Neither situation is healthy. The only time, you can't really advise people how to live their lives that explicitly, but if a divorce can possibly be avoided until the child is ready to start school, I think the disruption in a preschool child that doesn't always have the language and the cognitive abilities to make sense of what's happening. They just know, Daddy used to be here and now he doesn't live here anymore. And it's sort of an inchoate feeling that's very distressing. So if you can possibly delay a divorce until the child is 6 or so, I think that helps.
How does that balance off between the tension that's involved at that point?
I think that there's no answer to that question. It's a problem. It can be a problem.
It's a balance, I guess, balancing those two competing forces.
But you know, parents don't have to be alone in this. They can ask the child's pediatrician. They can ask, they can get counseling for the child and for themselves. They can talk to relatives to fill in when they are too absorbed in their own problems to pay enough attention to the child.
I think you're so correct on that, but what concerns me, I guess, is that we have probably 50% of the people getting divorced without the help of even an attorney or anybody, so there's no professional involved. So it seems to me those people have children, and of course we have the parenting education programs that all the states require, but I've had mixed things on that.
It does make it more difficult.
Before I forget again, you can contact Dr. Heins by going to her website, which we're going to show on our screen, and go to her website, which is parentkidsrights.com.
Parentkidsright.com.
Kids Rights, right? No S.
Right, no S.
Oh.
Parent Kids Right.
Let me fix that.
Okay.
Good. We wouldn't want them going to the wrong site. They could end up in bad places. How can couples make their marriage work?
Well, I started to talk about the 4 C's, the care, the commitment, the communication, and if all else fails, the counseling. You know, I think you have to start out saying that this is a job that we are going to do together. We're going to make this work. And it's difficult. When you stop to think about it, every marriage happens because 2 people join together that come from different families, with different styles of child rearing, with different traditions. Even if they're in the same demographics, they're still different families. And it's really amazing that you can create a new family that can last for 50 years if you do it right.